Okay, so good morning to us, and to some of us, I would say good afternoon because I know we are joining from different time zones. So, and thank you for the opportunity to make it down for this session, this series that we are going to be having for a couple of weeks. So, our facilitator today is going to be Ahmed Abdulaziz, MVP, Microsoft MVP, and also a senior consultant at Avanade. So he's going to be running us through working with Copilot. And you know that today, hardly would you see anything Microsoft based that is not currently AI driven. And now at the backbone of the AI is the Copilot. So we're going to be seeing the extensibility of Copilot. We're going to be seeing how you can utilize it in building and enhancing your processes, even your applications, your Dynamics 365 applications, your Microsoft 365 applications. We're going to be seeing all these throughout these series that we're going to be working in. So today we'll be looking at building Copilot with generative AI. We'll be seeing what generative AI is, and then we'll be seeing the Copilot Studio as well. I'm sure some of us might have seen briefly what this looks like. But these would be even like a more one-on-one engagement where you can bring in your ideas, you can ask your questions, and then we'll see how we can even make this even better. So please, if you have questions during the session, ensure you ask. Okay, don't hold back because we are all here to learn. So it's very important that we ensure that we speak up. You can raise your hand. You can mute your mics if would not be speaking, so as not to have any interference with the session that is ongoing. So we'll be here for just an hour. So let's ensure to make maximum use of the 1 hour that we currently have. So over to you, Abdulaziz.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks very much, Funsho, and thanks for this being part of this. I just want to welcome first everyone for joining, and just like Funsho's mentioned, so we're going to take through 3 days for these sessions. So it's going to be based on practical, and also we also talk about the some concepts of the generative AI, when building the Copilot. So once again, my name is Ahmed Abdulaziz, and today's topic will be based on sorry, this session is going to be on building Copilot with generative AI and using Microsoft Copilot Studio, right? Yeah, first, currently I'm a senior consultant, currently working at Avanade as a developer as well. I'm an MVP business application, and then so I've been on this space for quite a while now, and then so and also I've been a trainer for many years, and then so yeah, so I've worked in several organizations and heading at different roles, different levels, and so that means that I've been working with this for over 13 years now within the business applications, right? So I'm one of the leads for Dynamics 365 user group, Nigeria as well. Yeah, I'm a speaker and also I'm a blogger as well. You can find some of my sections on YouTube and also on my personal blog site there. So which you can share with you later today. Yeah, so we're gonna look at the agenda for the whole of the core sections. Yeah, we're going to look at the overview of the generative AIs and the Copilot as well, and the whole of the what we're going to do. And then so we'll be looking at this content, this agenda, right? So, and we'll be talking about the generative AI in Copilot Studio. What are the generative answers, the content moderation, and then what are the source or sources right? And how can you assess them? How can the generative AI assess them or user assess them? Especially with a sensitive data, right? Right, and also we're going to look at the actions and connectors, right, in Copilot Studio. And we also look at the creating copilots with copilots. I mean, creating copilot. Yes, we're creating a copilot topics with copilots. How can we leverage on copilot to create topics for us as well, or create using copilot to create copilot, right? Yeah, and also we're going to look at the considerations, some URL considerations and how generative AI, can be able to get provide content from the URL, right? So what type of URL are you going to use, and what are the things, what are the structure of the URL that can provide those information via the generative AI. So you can also look at the publish and integrate with other apps as well, and then how we can test our bot as well. So now, of course, the generative AI is not in. I would say it's not something we are not familiar with. It's something that's been is a current dominant or prominent in the current century now. So, and of course, in terms of generative AI, they can process and generate in a natural language. And of course, when we talk about generative AI, it's an artificial intelligence technologies that actually use the large language models to generate content and provide a natural language understanding and responses as well. And of course, if you're and of course the people would, of course, typically want to interact with the between applications with this chat in the between applications. And one of these popular item tools is Microsoft Copilot, right? So, and Microsoft have done a lot to actually look into um, providing more flexibility, when we're developing this chat Copilot in using Copilot Studio, right? And of course, if your organization has decided to or are decided to customize Microsoft Copilot, right, or develop a custom Copilot, yeah, so Microsoft provide tools that you can use to develop a custom Copilot or customize the existing Copilot from the environment. So yes, there are two tools there. So Copilot Studio and also Azure AI Studio. And so, but in this case, we're going to look at the Copilot Studio, right? So when we talk about Copilot Studio, it's designed to work well for the local development scenarios in which technical proficiency developer or in which yeah, I won't say technical proficient developers, but the um, a business users that also proficiently have understanding of technology, right, can also build Copilot using the Copilot Studio. So what I mean is that it doesn't have to be techie. You don't have to be a core developer before you can develop Copilot Studio, Copilot in Copilot Studio. But with the Azure AI Studios, it's a platform as a service, right, where developers can leverage on the development portal, and which has who in which you can have a full control over the language model you can want to use with the Azure AI Studio, right? So when we talk about the Microsoft Copilot Studio, right? Yes, it's a unified. It provides a unified platform, just like mentioned earlier, where a low-code platform where you can quickly develop your bots, your Copilot, and with no infrastructure already available, right? So you can quickly build this and also deploy this in whatever environment channels you want to deploy it to. And of course, you can connect to different the type of data sources or multiple data sources, right? There are over 1,200 connectors, and in which we can leverage on within the Copilot Studio to um, integrate with your Copilot as well. So we can also boost your conversation with FAQ, right? That will be frequently asked questions, right? Sites and also files you uploaded to the source. And you can choose from multiple channels, so you can deploy. That's what means that you can deploy to multiple channels available in the Copilot Studio there as well. And this also could be your custom websites or teams or whichever channels that's available in the Copilot Studio there. And also, it can also be the safe and responsible AI. And of course, I've talked about this in previous, probably in some other sections about building a responsible AI. And AI is something that is we need to be carefully we need to be very cautious when you're building the or training the AI, because it's how it can also provide some harmful content if not properly built. So that's why we talk about responsible AI, right? And then also you have to ensure that it also provide building in terms of the within industry standards for security and compliance reason as well. Now, Microsoft Copilot Studios offers generative AI features to reduce any kind of a manual authoring, right? And they can also expand the scope of the copilots by adding the AI knowledge and also ability to interact with the users, right? So you can create and of course using using generative AI in Copilot Studio transform how we build Copilot by significantly reducing our manual work and configuration as well. So with this in Copilot Studio, you can create an instant useful Copilot with with no any manual topics, which we're going to see in the demo probably after we talk about these sections, right? And of course, you can also harness the AI general knowledge, where you can add it can allow you to, yeah, which allow you to add the sources as well, where information is being provided or presented to the users that's making query to the Copilot to information. So now you can also describe what you want your topic to do, and Copilot Studio will create that for you. And so your Copilot include like conversational processes, responses, right? And has a multiple types of nodes. So you can just suggest in this description of when creating topic, right? Authoring the topic, you can provide a topic and also provide a kind of instruction or description within the Copilot. That can actually automatically generate the topics for you based on what you have, described when you're creating your chatbot. Now, you can also enable generative answers, right? Mostly based on the actions that we are going to look at later. So the actions are connectors, and of course you have this formerly known as plugins, right? So at a runtime. So with this now, let's just go to generative what we call and of course with Copilot Studio, you can also use generative AI uh, um, to use generative answer as a fallback, right? So what we mean by this is that if Copilot is able to find a relevant answer to your questions, right? So generative AI is looking to a fallback topics, right, within the Copilot Studio, and provide such a kind of information there. And again, so it also allows you to integrate generative AI into your topics by using generative answers mode, right? It also allows you to provide a brief description of the Copilot, like I mentioned earlier, that you want to create, and also to build that for you as well. So now, when we talk about generative answers, right? So now I'm taking through all of this because these are the basic things. These are the concepts that you also need to understand before you start building your Copilot Studio, especially, right? So generative answers in Copilot allows you to uh, allow your Copilot to find and present information from multiple sources, right? This could be internal and or external source without creating topics. And then normally, when we talk of the Copilot Studio, right? So previously, before now, we can create topics, and then information will be presented to the users based on the provided and topics that we provided, like training or information that we provide to the board. So the information we provide with the limits within the limit of information we give or we have configured within the chatbot. But now, with generative answers, can you don't need to build some even topics, so it can provide us information from different sources. So this could be from your website, a public website, or it could be um from a file that or document you have provided within the Copilot Studio, or it could be from the external source like a SharePoint site, and so on and so forth, right? So, and of course, previously, if Copilot couldn't determine the user's intent after two prompts, so if you can just write after two prompts, previously the bot, we escalate to the live agent, but now before the bot can actually escalate to live agents, with generative AIs, we also provide you. We use it with this natural language processing to actually parse users' queries, and also gather and analyze information from various sources, and from that, it's going to present that information to the user. So now, how generative answers works? How does it work? Now, the Microsoft Copilot Studio uses a customized natural language understanding model and AI capabilities to understand what user types and then respond with the best topic, right? So, and of course, the topic is part of is a portion of a conversation between the user and the copilot itself. So, and when, let's say, for example, you ask common questions, right? Um, about your business. Probably a user asks question about your business, and let's say when is an inquiry, or probably user asks about the when your store is open, or when your opening hours, or so on and so forth. So Copilot can use a natural language understanding to understand your intent behind the questions, and also match that intent to the best topic within the generative AI. So now, however, the Copilot Studio also employs a natural language understanding model that uses a sample-based approach, right? So, and of course, this is powered by the deep natural models. This type of large-scale models can only be trained once with a large amount of data, right? Now, there's also what we call a RAG technique, right? So retriever augmented generation. So RAG technique is as RAG is a technique that you can use to ground a language model. In other words, it's a process for retrieving um, information that's relevant to the user initial prompt, right? And in general terms, that the RAG pattern incorporates with the retrieving information, like let's say grounding data based on the initial user prompts, right? And also, it also augments your prompt with your data, with the data that you provided, right? It's like augmenting the copilot, right, with your own data source, right? That's what by augment. Like, so it's going to retrieve information based on the ground data and also augment um your information and present it to the user, right? And generate such answer to the user as well, right? So that means that you don't have to train the Copilot, the whole language model in your data. Rather, it's like you just augment it with your own data source, right? And of course, the Copilot Studio is hosted in Azure OpenAI 3.5 model. And for those, probably I can also encourage you to look into models catalog in the Azure OpenAI Studio. There are catalogs where now we have a GPT 4 point, I mean 4 GPT 4.40 or 40 or something. So also have GPT 3.5 and so on and so forth. So with 3.5 is actually the the models being used for a natural language understanding within the Copilot Studio, right? So which is has to do with natural language. There are 4.4 GPT-4 is has to do with the probably majorly classified based on the image, text, and so on and so forth. But 3.5 has to do with natural language, right? Now we're going to look at this source. We talk about the sources, right? We're going to look at this step by steps and how we can also follow these guidelines, in building uh, the generative AI within the Copilot Studio. Now we talk about the sources earlier, and what about the source authentication? We are going to also look at it step by step, and also we're going to look at the content moderation. How can you, how can you moderate or control your uh, your copilot in such a way that they provide a relevant information. You understand? So we don't want to build a bot that is that will provide an harm or provide a violent content to the user, right? So we need that ability to be able to control the kind of well information that the copilot also provide or present to the user. That's what we talk about the content moderation, right? Then I also talk about the URL considerations that you need. So URL consideration that you need to look into by how does the generative AI provide those information? What kind of structure of the of URL that you need to provide within the generative AI studio, Copilot Studio, right? Now, when I talk about the source information, I think there's a question. Let me just quickly look into that. Okay. Just give me a sec. I think issue here.
Yeah, so I just included in the chat that if there are any questions while the
Okay.
sessions are ongoing, you can put in the questions in the chat so
Okay.
we can answer appropriately.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, for sure. Yeah, I just okay. So now, when we talk about information sources, right? So information are sourced from both internal and external sources, right? So the external sources, we talk about the AI general knowledge, right? So the general AI general knowledge is where you add those um yeah, the public URL, like, for example, could be from the public side that's open to everyone there to see there, right? So, but with this URL, you can, information can be generated or provided based on what information that's on the site. So the date where the Copilot will look into that, retrieve information from there and provide it to the users rather than users surfing the internet themselves, right? Now, also, you can also use a Bing search. What we're going to look at this as well, how we can use this. And you can also use a Bing custom search. So, of course, with Bing custom search requires external configuration. Yes, the extra configuration that you need to do there, which I'm going to show you probably during this course of 3 days, right? Now, also look at the internal source. And of course, you don't want to provide information that is sensitive or anything that has to do with internal, your own data, your own information that is not public, that's not being provided just publicly, right? But you need but this information need to be provided to the requester, right? But you can't just provide those internal information without providing a sense of security, right, around that uh, information that I wanted to be provided. And that's what we talk about authentication, right? So the user need to for internal source. So look at the SharePoint side, OneDrive, documents uploaded to the dataverse, custom. You also have your internal other source of data as well, right? You can also provide to the that need to provide to the Copilot. Now, you need to configure level of authentication within that for the information for that internal information to be provided, right, to the user. Now, also, like, yeah, I think I've talked about this. There are different categories of authentication. So, and of course, you can open your um source, internal source. Like, in terms of authentication, you have 3 steps. No authentication. That means you probably need to provide uh a level of user don't need to be logged in to be authenticated before they can access information. And you also have the authenticate with Microsoft's Entra ID. So that means if you are using the app, you are using the bot internally. That means your user needs to you need to log in with Teams. They probably can access this both with Teams and Power Apps as well. But they will use their Entra ID to be able to access this information. So you can also authenticate manually. So this requires extra configurations. That means that you can make the bot public, and for the user to authenticate to have access to that internal source like SharePoint now, they need to be authenticated. So here is the thing as well. So the user will need to be also have access to your internal SharePoint, let's say SharePoint site. So it need to be that means that there has to be an existing access, okay, for the user to on the SharePoint site, for example. And if they inquire information from the Copilot, they also need to be authenticated as well from the bot from the Copilot itself, right? So that means that is there could be a requirement for that, probably, for you to be able to provide. Let's say, for example, a user want to know, I raise a ticket to a customer support service, and I needed to know the status of my ticket, for example, right? So I can also make inquiry to the bot and provide me the status of my ticket, right? Before they can provide, I can be provided with status of my ticket. So I need to get authenticated and provide and of course the Copilot will look into repo and see if you exist there, and then user account is exist there, then It's going to provide you based on the information, based on the based on the credentials you provided as well to be authenticated, right? Now, I'll talk about the content moderation. We're going to look at this, and you can set your configuration content, your content moderation at different levels with the high, medium, and low. So this way, actually, you can provide the how relevant information is to be provided to your by your content, right? By your copilot. So we can adjust this with high now, with high uh, high moderation. So your copilot can provide relevant answers, right? Um, they can provide generate fewer answers, but provide more relevant answer. With medium, copilot generates more answers, but might be irrelevant or undesirable. With low, uh, moderation. So the Copilot can generate the most answers, but might be inaccurate as well. So it depends on how you are, what kind of information or the purpose of your um, chatbot as well. I mean, Copilot. Now, URL considerations, right? The URL is used in your Copilot represent the scope of the content for generating the responses. So there are requirements for that. So in this case, now we talk about the website, right? So you have up to two levels of depth, or top. We have top level, and also um just like example you're seeing on the board, like www.company.com, and you can also put that in your generative AI in your Copilot Studio, and also you can also provide this the second level as well, right? The www.company.com /engines and this, and then Woodrill, just like we are seeing on the board there. So if you provide more than two levels, so the content from that site will not be generated if you are providing that. So what you can do, well, for the content to be generated from the the third level, let's say for example, you see there you have the company.com /engines rotary /draw shaft, right? So there's information or content from the draw shaft, right? For you to get that information from the shaft, draw shaft, right, page. So the only need to do is just to provide that level, just two levels of depth. You don't need to provide the third one there. So the content from the third level will be generated, okay, from even with the two level of URL you provided, right? So you cannot so any information inquire from the site will be provided whatever page it is that is coming, that is there, is going to provide it. So I'm going to show you all of these in the demo as we move on, right? Now so these are the content. These are the things. A maximum of we can have maximum of of sites per topic. Let's say for example, and also you have your SharePoint site, OneDrive, which must be authenticated. The file size is maximum of 3 MB. Also you have a four site maximum. And also SharePoint site cannot be more than two levels deep. You also have yes, you can provide in terms of document, you can provide a direct URL link of that document, right? Let's say you open SharePoint site, you open the document on the website, and you copy the URL and put it. You can provide that the information will not be indexed from there, right? You can also index with data search as well from this. Yeah, you talk about actions. Actions are the let's say between where you can actually um connect to, let's say like a Power Automate, for example. You have multiple connectors there, many connectors that we can connect with and provide and integrate with your Copilot. And of course, actions are used by your Copilot to respond to users automatically, right? So with generative actions, you can call them from within the topic itself, right? So we have a Power Automate flow, we have AI builder prompts, both framework skills and so on and so forth, right? Yeah, in terms of forming questions, right? Or you can form questions that need to be that can be relevant, that is actually relevant to your um to your Copilot, right? And then also you need to, when you're forming your question, you need to try reframe and reframe again several times, and to ensure that you are being uh, reframe and also test to ensure that this information or this prompt is actually escalating properly, right? So in some cases, in many cases, you want to disable some sample topics so that those information is not provided to the users in case. Now, let's quickly jump into demo. I'm going to look at the, yeah. So how can you get started, right? So the first things you need to do is to, let me see. Yeah. So if you look into this URL, and probably I can share with you on the chart. Let me look into this. Yeah. So you can try free or try a demo, and of course you can sign in here, right? Probably if, let me try this, right? So you click on that, then you can provide your emails and so on and so on, and create your account. So that will provide you an environment as well. From that environment, you can select from different types of environment here as well. So, and here we're going to look at the, so I'll make sure that you are in the right environment when you're creating dot such, you're creating your chatbot. Now, so here we have um, the Copilot Studio environment. Before I continue, is there any question? Any question? Okay, any question before I continue from anyone? Anyone hear me? I just want to be sure everybody can hear me.
From me, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Thanks. Yeah, so here the first thing we are going to look at is from there. So this is, you have the home and you have the Copilot Studio. You have, there's some sample template you can also use, and also you also can see some learning resources that can also help you as well. And you also have the existing Copilot you have created, or so on and so forth. And also you can describe from here what you want to do from here. So this will can also automatically generate the kind of instruction that you want to, to create a Copilot for you as well. So now, so what we're going to do is you can also click on create, for example. So when you click on create, you have two options here. So you can create from the actions, or you can create a new boot from scratch. When you click on from action, that means you have to actually to extend the existing Copilot. So when you create the environment, all right, and also provision the right trial license, you have to Copilot created for you there, Copilot for Microsoft 365 or Copilot for sales as well. Just like you can see from here, if I go to more, and here you're going to see these two there already, provision for you, right? All you need to do, you can also customize them and also make use of them available for environment. But in our case, we are going to create a custom and Copilot, right? So when I click on that, So we can give it a name. I'm say infos. So what we're going to do, right? So we're going to create a copilot that can provide information regarding, let me put it this way, probably regarding health and also regarding education, or we can also add additional and say, okay, probably let's say visa information or the kind of thing, or and all of these things. So this is what we are going to actually look at as well, right? You can also describe what you want the bot to do. In our case, we can say, let's okay, give me instruction. Let's the user asks about no, this um uh, provide information about health, education, and travel information, right? So okay, this uh mm, okay. Let me describe what's good. Health, education, and visa information. Okay, and just put it this way. And so now by doing this, you can also select a language that you want your bot to. In this case, we're going to use the English, and you can also add AI knowledge, for example, source. So I'm going to show you this. I don't want to do that now. I'm going to show you how you can do this. So we need to specific. So when you click, let me just show you this way. So now when you click on add knowledge, right, this way you can provide your either internal or external source, right? Here we have a public website. You can also have a SharePoint and so on and so forth, right? So but here I'm going to create first, then we can now, come back probably in our topics, or in each of our topics. No, we're going to add the data source itself, right? Right, it's gonna take a couple of minutes, probably 1 or 2 minutes. It should be less than 1 minute. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. So now we have seen how to create that, and here you will see that you have some kind of details here, and here you have some sample topics you have seen there. You also have the actions not there yet, and here we have the topic details. It's still trying to load the description and instruction that we provided to the board, right? So here, a couple of things we can also do, right? And here we have the AI knowledge, where we can add the knowledge from the source. You can add a public URL, or like I described earlier, so any other source or data files from here. And I'm going to show you how to do that specifically on that as well. Here, you also have the custom topics and the system topics as well. So, and here you can see, once you hover them, you're able to see kind of information from there. And you see here boosting, conversational boosting. So this provide, like, if you ask question around information that is not within the topics that you have on the Copilot Studio. So this conversational boosting will actually, provide, just to provide information from the relevant source, right? Probably from, use its own generative AI, generative knowledge, to provide this kind of information. And that's what we talk about, the conversational boosting, right? And also we also have a fallback. Okay, so the fallback URL, that's why you see that is unknown. You can see from there from conversational boosting because it provide. So we're gonna see how this thing works actually, and also has a fallback URL, which actually provide you with relevant probably information that's related to the question that you asked the Copilot in case information is not within the topics of which you have also provided configured within the Copilot. Now, so there are two things here. So if I open up this conversation, I'm just going to show you there. As you can see, there's no topic, but specifically you can see this is generative AI and the generative answers, and it's a node content as well, trigger. So there's no trigger as well within the topic itself. And you also have some sample topics here, which I'm not going to look into that because we don't need that. And here, okay. So now let's create something here. Now you can create topic from blank, or you can create topic from description with copilots, right? So I'm going to show you how this works. So then you can also modify this if you want. This is actually automated, probably a message you can get from the Copilot itself. Now, let's create from description with Copilot, right? Now, how do we do this, right? How does it work? So all you need to do is to provide the name and also create a topic, description of the what you want to do, both to do, right? Now in this case, we're going to like say information regarding let's say regarding information general information. I'm going to describe let's user asks information about health, education, and travel. So now I want to be specific, right? So I need to be specific about which kind of information from where and which location, right? So here I will, since I'm in Ireland here, I'm going to provide here. This is what I'm going to do, right? So now information, education, and travels in Ireland, right? Now, so before that, as you can see, if I remove this, you can also select from one of the samples from here, right? Once you select this, so you can also depends on what depend on your scenario. So now, once I click on create, you see that automatically some triggers will be generated, right? And here you see you can also edit this kind of this trigger if you want, and based on that you can also ask you can start configuring edit with Copilot as well, as you can see from here. So automatically I don't need to create some of these topics or trigger myself, right? So automatically it's generating some some topics and some triggers, right, which I can actually edit. If I say general information, I can see tell me about generation or something. It depends on what I have actually asked the bot to actually do on topics, right? And here, but because information are not providing me some of the things that I actually wanted to be triggered with, right? So I can just click on edit, and also I can check from here about information about search. And sometimes if you if you create a topic with Copilot, and sometimes you can also remove that topic and also recreate it again until you're able to get the right information or triggers that you want the bot Copilot to create for you. But in this case, we just continue. We just go ahead and with this I can just say information about Heads. From here, tell me about travels to Ireland. Okay. And different and types of time. Island. Okay, types of visa types. Uh, okay. And okay, so and here you can also provide. So you can remove some topics if you want. If you don't, if you want that, they can do a different. Okay, let me just remove. I think I need to just to remove some topics here and tell me more. Tell me more about about education in Ireland here. Okay, and here. Okay, I just provide some probably some topics there. So now we need to also do some kind of things here as well. Here, we can also use pilots to do some things. Let me see here. Now, you can see some types of also some kind of a question node as well. Okay. So now you can add this from there. You can also ask this as well. So let's add questions. Question to ask user to select from the following options: health, right, education, and also education. Sorry, education, and what again? Travels, and probably can add these documents. Okay, let me just do with 2 for now. 3 for now. Okay. 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 So once I do this, let me just copy this and click on paste and click on update. So automatically you see that this will actually generate for me what I have this here. So because I don't need this, you can see what this is what automatically was generated initially. What information are you looking for? You can ask about health, education, or travel, blah 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 blah. All that. You can also select from the following. So because I don't need this, right? So what I need to do is just to actually remove this. Sorry, it's not being removed there. Okay. And here, because probably I don't need this, I can just remove this. You can just say this, or I can let me just for save. I can okay, and I don't need this. I can just remove this one and click on save. I think there's something here I need to edit from this topic and travel to Ireland. Okay, I can just add more and all. Okay, travel. Let's add information and okay. Okay, I think that's fine. Click on save. Yeah, from the right side here, you can also text and say travel, say visa information, right? So when I say visa information, and this is going to go to the topic that I created earlier, and it's going to provide me so which options I need to select from here, right? Now, because of that, so I also need to add something here as well. Okay, and let me say I need to add another topic for each of the options selected from here. I can also ask user to the chatbot to actually create add some kind of information that we're ready to do based on the condition. So you can say add condition, let user asks, select from this. Okay, and okay, let me just add this condition here. Let's say add condition. The options. Let me see if it's gonna go off there. Okay, so because of time, I can quickly add this option myself. This condition, ask questions regarding, sorry, not question. There'll be a condition from here and add condition, right? I'm also going to select from there, from this option. Okay, and let's go to health. I can add more condition as well. More condition from here. Option, education, and also you can add more. And here I'm gonna add health travels, right? Yeah, okay. Once I'm done with that, I can also now what I'm doing, I'm just creating topics, right? And I haven't yet provide a generative node yet. So, and how we could be to provide, this. So I haven't done that yet. So what I'm doing first for, I'm creating some topics, right? Now, once I'm done with that, and the next thing I want to do is to add a generative AI to this, right? So now, because once the user click on this health, for example, and what information probably that need to be presented to the user, or what kind of information that need to the information that need to be retrieved from the relevant source, right? Now, I can create another topic. I also link this to this current topic, or I can go ahead from here to create. Most of the times, I only like to create a topic separately, and also redirect them from from whatever, so that I can be able to have the what do you call it, a clear or clean what do you call it, topic for each of the topics that I had created, right? Instead of having so many long topic and so on and so forth, right? Now we can also provide not condition. We can add here each of them for each of them. So you can ask, go to advanced action option and click on generative answers, right? With the generative answers, you can also provide inputs. This is going to be based on the data source as well, right? So now from data source, here you can add, we will talk about to let the generative AI use its own general knowledge as well. You can also, these are the content moderation within the nodes earlier, I mentioned earlier. So we have the high, low, and medium as well. And also you have the classic data sources, classic data, and we have data sources. Here we can provide information regarding the health information center, right? So now in Ireland, you can say information regarding the HSE, it's information there. And here we can also provide the think here activity text Okay, provide from string. Here you can also provide generative answers. Look into that as well. And text. Then we can add our data source. Now, before I can start adding this, there's one thing I also need to provide with us, right? Okay, let me just let me do this first because let's add information. And let me add this. I can say regarding education, I need to look into the website. Look into that. Okay. Now, what I would do, I will go to Bing search. So now in the Bing custom search, right? I have added different types of. I mean, I have some level of website. So one thing about the Bing custom search is that you can add as many as URL there, and all you need to do is to copy the configuration ID and insert it in your board, in the Copilot Studio there, right? You don't need to add so many like as I've done here. I've added like four websites there. So the website regarding zoo in the island, education, and discovery in the island as well. So all I need to do here is to go to production, and here you will find custom configuration ID, right? So once I do that, I can copy from here, and in my data source, all I need to do is to change from public website to search through the custom big search, right? So that's what I need to do there. And another thing I need to do here, okay, travel. I think wanted to do that here. Let me just do that here. Okay, just click on this one. Travels to island. So this is what I wanted to do here. Let's say change from website to this, right? So here I can just provide. Okay, this is fine. It's good. Okay. Now I can provide text. Okay, in search and to be sure the information is there already. Okay, so what I need to do, I can change it to a public site if I want. So I need to check to public site, and now I can just provide information regarding education. Okay, if I go to Bing, yeah, I just wanted to see how we can provide information regarding that. And let me just close this one. The source sites, yeah, that's fine. So now I can save here. So now I only added the generative data source here, and all I can do here is once I do that, I'm going to refresh, and here I can say wizard types just to trigger this one of the trigger information that I have in the cardboard there. Then here, so if I say add heads, right? So let me see what's going to provide me here. So I only click on the heads and the health option. As you can see here, it actually provide me with the information about health in Ireland here, right? And not only that, it also provide me with the two references there. As you can see, once I click on the website, it's going to take me here. And if I click on this, also, it's going to take me there as well, right? Now, I need to get more information regarding this something. So how to apply for medical cards. Okay, in Ireland. So if I say how to apply for medical cards in Ireland, so here it should also provide me with information I needed to you know to information I needed, right? So here you also provide me the information based on the information retrieved from the site, okay, from the health site here. So if I click on this also, now I'll talk about the just give me 1 second there. Okay. Now, so it's also providing information from there, as you can see from there. And one thing that I talked about the URL earlier, right? As you can see from here, the information provided actually looking to the different levels of the URL here, as you can see from me, /engine, /about, and all that from this page until you get to this page. So all I did was just to add from the data source itself about just one level of URL, which I was able to add from here and provide information, retrieving those information from different page, right? Now, if I want to also ask about the travel to Ireland and say visa type, and here I'm just using to trigger the information, right? So if I say travels, now I should see information regarding travels, right? As you can see, it's also providing me the information about traveling to Ireland, coming to Ireland. So to apply for visa. Okay. Okay, information. I need to refresh. Visa. Travels to Ireland, how to apply for the type of visa. Okay. So this also, we actually was provide me information regarding visa in Ireland. So as you can see from here, this information provided from, so like this is just a basic sample of the creating generative AI using information source from external sources, right? And information has been retrieved from this website, public website, and also present that information to the users. So because of time, I think we are over. If we are staying for our time, so next we're going to continue from here, and we're going to look at the authentication parts and how you can authenticate via when we want to access internal information, probably information from the site and also and from a SharePoint site and so on and so forth. And here, I think that one last thing I need to try before we go to that, right? So from Bing search, I added some kind of information to the Bing, and I want to see how the information is provided from this from Bing search, right? Now let me go back here and say, let me trigger this with just trigger, and if I say education, they have education search. Okay. Okay. Education. I think I provided you for education earlier. Courses. The available courses. Universities. Okay. Okay, so and here as you can see information regarding the courses and Ireland here. So this how anyway. So before we finish here, so this is we're gonna end it here today. And if you have any question, anybody have a question? Let me see if there's any question for you. Funcho. Okay, there's a question here. I can see both instances, both public and being custom search. You still need to list the website URL. So what is the difference on both options? So just the public and the Bing search. Okay, yeah. So I think I just explained earlier. So the with the Bing custom search, right? You can list as many as URL there. All you need to do within the Copilot Studio is to provide the configuration ID there. You don't need to list within the uh, topic data source. You don't need to list all the website there. But and again, in the custom Bing sites, you can add as many as you are there, and information will be retrieved from any of those URL. Relevant information will be retrieved from those end of the URL you are provided in Bing search there. So this would actually limit the numbers of, I mean, URL you started adding to the data source in the URL. As you can see from the public, that you can add. I think we talked about the maximum of 4 earlier. You can add to the data source there and Generative AI. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Any other question? Any other question, guys? So today is just like introduction to this course. We're gonna look into more deep into the into this section into this Copilot Studio next week, and I hope you have learned some things today, just like introduction, basic things we've done for here. And next is going to be more deep, and we're going to look at how we can provide authentication and configure the Azure app registration. And also, we're going to look at that together ourselves. And also, we can also do some other actions within the Copilot Studio there. All right, so if no questions, option 3, what about option 3?